Parisian design has long captivated design enthusiasts with its casual elegance and timeless taste. Today on Homeworthy, we'll explore 3 New York City apartments transformed into chic pied-à-terres, each masterfully blending vintage and contemporary pieces. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hey Homeworthy, I'm Sophie and welcome to my New York City thrifted palace. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. To shop items inspired by this and other Homeworthy episodes, be sure to check out the product links below for amazing furniture, accessories, and more.
My name is Sophie Bro. I am a professional dancer and choreographer in the city, and I've also recently gotten into real estate, so I'm a real estate agent as well. I have traveled across the country and been on Broadway national tours, and I've been in and out of the city the last 5 years, auditioning and traveling for work. And recently this past year, I decided to put the suitcases up and move back to New York City permanently and have a place of my own. So I am in this apartment when I moved back in this past year, March 1st. I was really looking at various different neighborhoods in New York, and I opened up the Hell's Kitchen area because I love the culture, I love the hustle and bustle of this area. I never thought I'd want to live in Midtown West area, but I absolutely love it. This little apartment is a diamond that I would never have found if I didn't open up my search. And I sometimes like to call it Southwest Central Park to make it sound a little more elevated. And so anyways, that is where my adorable little gem of an apartment is. And I would say my design style, it varies room to room. The base is French. I was really inspired by my travels to Paris last year. But French, I'd say chic, classic Parisian. The kitchen's a little eclectic, and then my bedroom is definitely has more of a traditional flair. Finding this apartment was a journey. It took about a month from the time I decided to move to the time I actually found the apartment. I moved in the winter, and so the thing about that is there's not a lot of inventory popping up, so I would wait weeks and weeks before I would even find something in my price range pop up for me to even rent. And I was back in Texas at the time. I'm from a small town in Texas, and so I wasn't here to search myself because I knew it would take so long since it was the winter season. And I had a real estate agent who I was connected to through mutual friends in the entertainment industry who was so patient with me as I was a little picky to find the perfect place. And so we did virtual tours for a month, and I was starting to get so disheartened because I would put an application in on several apartments and never got them, especially in neighborhoods that were dream neighborhoods. And so like I said, I opened up my search to Southwest Central Park, Hell's Kitchen, and this apartment came available one day. It is rent stabilized, it is such a good price, and there were so many inquiries on this apartment that they shut it down. They shut the listing down within 10 hours. I think they had 250 inquiries. And so it was serendipitous because the real estate firm was Bond, New York, and my real estate agent was from Bond, New York, and now I'm a real estate agent with Bond, New York. So I feel like the stars just aligned. God was on my side. Everything fell into place as it should have. And I was one of 20 people who got to view the apartment, and I was not even here in person. It was all virtual. And I found out the next day that I got it. So it really is it's so sweet and so divine, and it is just a little diamond. It's a 1-bedroom, and it has 3 separate rooms, which is sometimes hard to find in New York City because It's just an open room, a studio apartment with the kitchen, and is in the same room as your bed, which is very common here. But in this specific apartment, I have a separate kitchen, I have a separate sitting room, and I also have a separate bedroom. And it has 3 massive closets, which is good for all my clothes and shoes. So I just feel like it was so meant to be, and it was perfect for me. All right, y'all, welcome to my kitchen. This is the first space you enter when you walk into the apartment. And I love this space because it's separate from the other rooms. It's very small, but I've done a lot of adding specific pieces to help with organization. The before pictures, this right here, this specific countertop was attached right here with L brackets. So this whole space was that countertop for chairs to go underneath. I wanted to utilize the space more for organization, so I took that off the wall, put that in a closet, and brought this piece from home, as well as this piece is so special to me. This is from my childhood kitchen back home in Texas. It was so perfect the way it worked out. My parents just happened to decide to renovate the kitchen in my childhood home back in January. And then I got this apartment at the end of February. And so I was able to bring this cabinet that I've grown up seeing my whole life with my mom's crystal in it up here to New York City to my little tiny gem of an apartment. And it is so special to me. And I feel like it elevates the space, but it also just feels like it's meant for this room. I feel like everything blends and flows together so well, even down to the original paint color that my mom had it. So this is so special to me. And I brought this piece from home. I love it because it has 4 drawers, so I can hide anything in there. It's great for organization. I've made this my little coffee bar. I can put baskets underneath for more organization. And also my parents, when they were doing their renovation, got a fabulous butcher block countertop for their island. And so the contractors back home cut me a piece for the top of this to kind of elevate this piece of furniture, and I love it. This is my favorite area of the whole kitchen. Another thing you'll notice is there's no oven in this kitchen, which is, at first I was so upset about it. It was such a downside, but my mom, thank goodness for her, she bought this toaster oven air fryer for her kitchen renovation and realized, and it's the little GE Cafe. It's so cute. She has the GE Cafe appliances when she did her renovation, and her oven that she has, the GE Cafe, does the same thing. It has air fryer and everything. So she ended up letting me have this, and it is perfect. I don't think I'm ever gonna want to bake in an oven again. You can roast a whole turkey in here. It has a cookie setting, air fryer, pizza. It's the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, everyone needs to get one of these, but I'm telling you, this has been such a little lifesaver for me. I think it's also, I have so many favorite things, but I think that's also another favorite thing. And then this island is a really great space. It's perfect for extra countertop, but you can also lift this up, and it's great for seating. And then in one of my many closets I have in this apartment, I have 2 little collapsible, you can get them at Target, 2 little collapsible bar stools. And so I bring those out here when I'm hosting, and when we want to have dinner, this becomes my dining room table. So it's such a functional and flexible piece of furniture. And so it's perfect. I got it from Amazon, and it was the perfect size for this space. And another thing that I absolutely love are my fresh herbs here in the window. I really wanted to put them outside, but I wasn't able to do so because of the way my windowsill is outside. But I thought, how cute to just put them in the window. You can see them better. I love the copper accents. I love the like French country aesthetic that brings to the space. And yeah, I have never cooked with these yet, but I will. I strive to be the biggest homemaker out there. I am not at the moment, but I'm working on it, and I feel like the herbs are going to help me achieve that. So I really love those. I think it's just very much so the vibe that I want. It also just reminds me of home. My dad has a garden back in Texas, and my mama has all her little herbs right outside the kitchen window. And so it's just very nostalgic for me. And this piece is very special to me. It was free. It was literally free. I got this in Texas, back home at the lakes. It's either Sam Rayburn or Toledo Bend. It's called the Wow Factor, and it's like in between those two places. They buy out storage units, and it's just all this stuff outside. It's like the mix of like a garage sale. And so this piece was left out in the rain. It was just by the fences, and I was flipping through all the art, and there was a big mirror I got, and the guy was like, ma'am, you can get this for free if you want. You can just take it. So I did. And I reframed it at Hobby Lobby, and I got a little art lamp, and now it's one of my favorite pieces of art, and it was free. So it's so special to me. I love it. I got these little TV trays from the Salvation Army. I live very close to one. It's dangerous. They know me by name. And so this came from there. I got my little TV trays. I have several, so that it's just, once again, extra seating. I feel like that's always something you're looking for in a small New York apartment, is versatility and extra seating. And so I really feel like I'm able to achieve that with these TV trays. And I can bring them all around my apartment. So and a few more things that I just love in this space are my upper cabinets. I love that I have a space. The ceilings are very tall in this apartment, and the cabinets are elongated and very tall, but I also love that I had space that I could decorate up there. And so I have my trays I brought home from Venice when I went on my trip to Italy. I am a collector of old books, and so I love that I was able to showcase my books up there. And then above this cabinet specifically, I have some very special things from just my years performing. That Oscars book up there is from the Dolby Theater. My first national Broadway tour was Jimmy Buffett's Escape to Margaritaville. And we were actually the first Broadway national tour ever to perform at the Dolby Theater. And so the Dolby Theater gifted us with those Oscars books. And so it's so special to me, and I wanted to showcase that. I feel like my kitchen is more of my eclectic artsy space, and so I thought that this was the perfect space to showcase some of my artsy things I've accumulated over the years. And I love this specific kitchen setup because it just came like this. How fabulous is this for a New York City apartment? These massive pull-out drawers that I can stick all my pots and pans in. I also have decorated the inside of my cabinets with Lazy Susans. So it's so nice for organization to get my spices through there. This was a gift. This Mackenzie Childs teapot was an apartment warming gift from my mom. She's always had a Mackenzie Childs teapot in our house in Texas growing up. And so it's so sweet to me. I feel like this was like, I've achieved homemaker status, my own place, because I have my Mackenzie Childs teapot. That's something that I've always wanted. And so she gifted that to me when I got my place. And I wanted to bake this cake anytime I host or things like that. My mom is actually obsessed with Nordic ware bundt pans. I used to bake all the time, and I don't really do it anymore, but since gotten my place, I think it's just so, every time I go home and there's an event or the holidays, Mom always has a cake baked, and I think it's so sweet and southern and endearing and charming, and so I try to do that in New York. I don't bake often, but once again, it's like the herbs. I'm really stepping into my homemaker era. And so I just think it's so sweet and inviting and makes my guests feel so welcome. So I like to do that. And I get all my little cute crystal, all these finds, everything's thrifted. Every single thing you see is thrifted. So this came from the Salvation Army, where they know me. That's thrifted. These two items are from the Salvation Army. This is from Facebook Marketplace. It's a Williams-Sonoma copper pot hanger. no, Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, $20 for this. It's crazy. I love to thrift. Oh, this just shows you how much I love a deal. This specific pot, I feel like, is a really good example of how much I love a deal. So this is a very expensive, I think it's called Baumelou. I'm not sure. It's a French brand, copper saucepan with a cast iron handle. I think it's like $100 on Amazon. It was on clearance at Marshall's for $32, and I wanted it so bad because I just love the copper aesthetic. But I was like, I'm just not spending $32 on this. That's expensive. And so I went back like 3 days later, and it was clearanced even more for $16. And so I got it for $16. But that's just an example of my finds. And how much I am willing to spend on things. But you know what? Patience is a virtue, and I went back and found it, and it was even cheaper. So I think it's so sweet. But that is a little bit about this space. I just love the idea of it being, it's the first place you enter when you enter the apartment. So I just wanted it to just feel so cozy and eclectic and very homey is what I wanted to achieve for my kitchen with the charcuterie boards on the wall. I really feel like I brought some of my Southern roots specifically into this space. All right, that's all for the kitchen. Now if you'd like to follow me into my sitting room, but as I like to call it, the tea room. Follow me? So something about me is I don't spend a dime on anything. It is like a passion and a pursuit of mine to find special items for as inexpensive as I can get them, and I feel like that comes from people not really realizing sometimes what they have. I shop on Facebook Marketplace. I shop estate sales, garage sales, Salvation Army. Those are some of my go-to places that I find, and various local thrift stores that I find some of my treasures. And yeah, I just feel like I have so many pieces that I've collected over the years. This apartment is made up of so many treasures just that I've just slowly collected and curated over the years. And I have gotten a lot of beautiful pieces for free and also just very inexpensive. And so yeah, I love to thrift, and I love to find fabulous and very special pieces that have a story on a dime. My mom is, as far as the design goes and how much I love interior design and thrifting and making spaces special and feel cozy for my guests, I feel like I really inherited that from my mom. She is a retired interior decorator from my small town in Texas, and she's the same way. She puts people's houses together on a dime. That's what she's been known for. And I feel like I definitely get that from her. Through the years growing up in our house, for the holidays, they would be over the top. Her and my dad used to own an adorable coffee shop and gift store, and it was like something out of a magazine. She would just always go over the top with her decor and her design, and she was just is such a great host. And I just feel like through the years growing up, being surrounded by it always being so special and looking so adorable, that I just kind of learned from her. I really feel like I learned from my mom, and she did have a hand in helping me make this place so special. And yeah, I feel like I get my design eye from her. It's just kind of a learned thing, and I've always been so interested in it. I've always been so interested in magazines. When I was little, I would flip through magazines and pull inspiration, and so this has just kind of been something I've always loved and had a passion for, and then with the help of my mom, I was able to really refine it over the years. All right, this is the tea room. This is my favorite room in the apartment. The reason we got the name the tea room is when I was hosting some of my friends, one of my friends who is from my very first national tour I did, we performed together, he came in and saw it and was like, oh my gosh, the tassels, the drama. So he said he feels like he should be served a glass of tea. He was like, this is very tea room vibes. And so the name has stuck. So this is the tea room. It is so special. The entire room was built around this coffee table. The entire room was literally inspired by this. I got this from the same place I got the free art, the place at the lake back in Texas. This is a John Richard fine furniture coffee table. Look this up. It is expensive. It was $100 at that place, and we did some wheeling and dealing, and they said it had been there for forever, and I ended up walking out with this coffee table for $50. That's $50. So this is like my prized possession. I love it. It's so special. I have bought it years ago and have just been saving it for the day I got my apartment. And so I love it in here. My dad got me this coffee table book when he was working in Dallas. He also loves thrifting. He's always at the half-price bookstore. So he got me that and brought it all the way home in his suitcase. It's so heavy. I have so many just special finds in here. These candle holders are from the Chelsea Flea Market, which if you live in New York and you have not been, you have to go. There's so many good finds there. I also got this little copper bowl from the Chelsea Flea, and I love to have candies in it for guests. I want it to be so cozy and feel at home for them. And I've always loved the aesthetic of fresh flowers are everything to me. My parents love to garden. Their outdoor space back home in Texas is so comfy, and we're just outdoor people, and so I try to bring that inside to this space. And I just love the idea of a big floral arrangement. Normally I have something higher, but this table is so long and oval, and so I really like the idea of this low arrangement and it being wider and taking up a little more of the space. So I really love that. I love fresh flowers. I have my cozy little nook over here. I actually have another one of these chairs in the bedroom, so when I'm hosting, I bring the other one and I set it here and to have more seating. I have a lot of little flexible stools and seating pieces for when I have guests, but this little chair was $15 from a thrift store in Beaumont, Texas called the Treasure House. It was literally $15. Also, I'm looking at all my lights. Every single light you'll see in here, I only have 3 outlets in this entire apartment, just 3 outlets. So every single light you see in here is battery operated. So there's nothing hardwired into the wall, and there's nothing plug-in. Everything is battery operated. So I have these sconces here with the battery operated candlesticks I got from Amazon. I have this little battery operated light I got from TJ Maxx. And so that is New York City apartment living, very renter friendly things, and I love that because it's easy and you just recharge them when they die. But these wall sconces I got on Facebook Marketplace. I traveled like 2.5 hours to get them, but I loved them. They were exactly what I was looking for. I wanted the chandelier effect. I wanted a mirror. It had everything. I found this fabulous mirror for $39 at the Salvation Army that I live very close to. So that is that's so dangerous. But that's also why I love this apartment, is because I live right next to a Salvation Army. So this mirror came from there. All these little books are so special to me. They are from Etsy, which is a great place to find antiques or just very special, unique gifts for people. But my mom got these for me for Christmas. They are French books, and they're like French theater books, which is so special because I dance professionally and do theater, so those were really, really special to me. And then I have so many little knickknacks and artifacts and art from all of my travels as of recently in the past 3 years. And so when I went to Pisa, I just loved it and wanted to get me a little leaning tower. I thought it's so cute and it fits this space perfect. Over here, I have this curio cabinet that was, I think I spent like $25 on it or something. I mean, it was such a good deal. And I got this at a garage sale back in Texas when I was deciding to move back. And I had a vision for this, to put all my bags in it. That was the vision, that was the dream. I wanted just all my bags in the curio, but unfortunately, we could not get the mothball smell out. We tried everything. We tried vinegar, baking soda, everything. It did not work. So anyways, I just decorated it instead with some of these little designer books that were 10 cents a book from the Treasure House in Beaumont, Texas. This is the same place I got my little green chairs. But I got all my little designer books. Once again, fresh flowers. They just make it so sweet in here. And I have these mirrors, I would say, are two of my favorite things. I have so many favorite things in this apartment, but just things I've collected. But these mirrors I got from my travels. I brought this home from Venice. When I went to Venice, I just wanted to come back. When I went to Italy, I just wanted to come back with a mirror. That was my whole goal. I want to come back with a mirror. And so the whole trip was taken for my cousin's wedding. She got married in the UK, and I'll never forget the Uber driver was like, "What are you most excited about for Italy or for the trip in general?" And I was like, "Getting a mirror." And he was like, "How are you gonna bring it home?" But it's little, it fit in the carry-on. But this is just so special to me. It's an antique, and it's just exactly what I envisioned that I wanted, and I was able to find it on the last day, truly like right before we left. So that was so special. And then this little easel mirror I got from Lyon when I went to France at the little antique market there. I forget the name of what it's called in Lyon, but I got this there. And I got it for $20. And then I went to Arles in the south of France when we continued our travels, and I saw this exact mirror for like $180 in an antique store. So a steal. And then this is a little drawer pull that my mom got when we went to Siena. And there was a little antique market in Siena, and it was a girls' trip with my mom and aunt and I, and Mom surprised us with this. She bought it, we didn't know, but we opened it last Christmas, and she said that she's been holding it. This is what she bought for us in Italy, and I just think it's such a cute little piece of decoration. I think it's so special. And my little bust, this is one of my favorite things. I got this in Pisa. Outside of the Leaning Tower, there's all these little like shops, and yeah, it's just a big, almost like outdoor gift shop in a way, but they had just buckets and buckets of these little busts. And I liked this one specifically. It was the display. I liked it because it was dirty. I liked how dirty it looked because it looked more antique. So I walked out with that, $2, a steal. And yeah, this is where I keep all my jewelry. This is kind of like my little like glam station next to my closet, which this is a massive closet space for a New York City apartment, by the way. Also, if you look at the uppers, I mean, this is so much storage, which is a necessity because just like I like thrifting furniture, I also like thrifting clothes and shoes and everything else. So I need that. But moving over here to my sweet little reading nook, when I was finding an apartment, it was all virtual tours, and I didn't even realize that this apartment had a reading nook. This was such a surprise when I got up here and was like, what did I just sign my lease on? This was such a surprise. I did not even remember seeing this. And so I had my contractors actually, who were renovating my parents' house right before I moved, they actually drove up there. He drove up here with his wife and helped me move into this apartment, and his wife just happened to be a seamstress. And so I went to go pick out fabric, and she made this custom bench seat for me for this reading nook, and it was just so special to see everyone helping me move in this tiny apartment and everyone utilizing their own specific God-given set of skills. And it was just so sweet to see her on my little tiny kid's sewing machine making this bench seat. So this is very special to me. And these are pieces of art from my travels to Italy. It's always important to me to get a local piece of art anytime I travel. So this is Pisa. The middle one is Venice, and the top one is the Siena Cathedral. And then this light I love because it really brings in the colors of the coffee table, and then also this pillow here. But this is just a wall sconce that is supposed to be hardwired, but I'll show you. I just have a little magnetic rechargeable light that I just put in it, and it's so renter friendly and convenient. And yeah, I love this wall sconce. It's just, I really feel like it just brings the space together. It really incorporates the black even up on the wall. And I love the velvet. I really wanted to bring velvet. I love the idea. This is just so inspired by when I was in Paris, but I love the idea of different textures and different prints and different patterns. It's like the more the merrier for me. And so I really wanted to bring in a little bit of velvet here. And then once again, I love the idea of a window box. I really wanted to have a window box outside, but it's just not possible with my ledge. And so I saw this acrylic vase and thought that was a perfect way to bring the window box aesthetic on the inside. And so I really love this. I love filling it with fresh flowers. And I think it's so chic and glam, and I just love pops of color. And I just really think it just ties in the look that I really love. I love it to be classic and antique, but I also love to bring the glam and the chic vibe into the space. And so I feel like those roses in the acrylic box help me achieve that. My design style changes often. I feel like over the years, it has been a little more contemporary back like in my childhood bedroom. In my real estate office back in Texas, I had a standalone office. It was a lot more contemporary than it is now, but in recent years, about 3 years ago, I went to Europe for the first time, and my eyes were just opened. I was just so overwhelmed with the beauty of the architecture and the interiors, and it was just, it just was so incredible to go and experience something that is so different than what I've grown up seeing, I feel like, in the United States my whole life as far as architecture and design style goes. And so this specific apartment, it's always been my dream to have my own place in New York, and I feel like this specific apartment, I wanted to really go all in with the Parisian antique classic interiors, and that was really inspired by my last trip to Paris. I feel like I was always in an interior design museum, just pulling so much inspiration. I just loved the look. I loved how chic and timeless it was, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. This is gonna be my next apartment, but it's gonna be on a dime. And so I really feel like I've pulled a lot of inspiration from my trips to Europe, and it has come out exactly how I wanted it to. So I'm really happy with the result. So when I was finally putting my suitcases up from touring and traveling across the country with my professional dance career, it was finally time for me to get a place of my own. And the most exciting thing about that was to be able to host my friends and host visitors and guests, and I love the idea of getting to host. And I have a cake that I baked in the kitchen right now. I have candies on the coffee table. I just love making it special for others. I think it's just the Southern hospitality, the Southern way. That's definitely how my mom is, and she is the ultimate homemaker, and so I aspire to be like that one day. And so I think my favorite thing, I'll never forget when I first moved into this apartment, it's very small and it's very full of furniture. And so I have a few air mattresses for when I do host family members and when I do have friends come. And so the first thing I was doing was figuring out where I was gonna put all the furniture so that I could host everyone. And so I think my favorite thing about having a place of my own is making it special for other people when they come to visit. That is like really a passion of mine, and I always want people to walk through my door and kick off their shoes and just feel right at home. So welcome to my bedroom. I feel like this is such a cozy, inviting space, which is not the original intention I had. When I was designing in my head the apartment that I wanted, I really wanted a dark and moody bedroom with a lot of prints and a lot of patterns, and I was seeing that, but I ended up totally flipping last minute to something white and cozy and airy, and I'm so happy I went in that direction this time. But a little bit about the space, as you can see, it's a little more traditional than some of my other rooms, I feel like, but I have so many special pieces in here. This piece in particular came from the Salvation Army I live close to. Whoops. and I got it for such a great deal. It's actually a changing table, but I was able to buy it and they let me take the changing table off. It was just able to be unattached, and so I just think it's perfect. It fits the space perfect, and it's great for extra storage, and it was just a find that I stumbled on, and that's what happens when you go to these thrift stores. You'll never know what you'll walk out with, but it was so special to me. This book in particular is probably one of the most special things in my entire apartment, and I didn't realize it until recently, actually, but I thrifted this book at the Treasure House, the same place I thrifted my 10-cent designer books in my little green chairs. But it is a book of Madeleine Vionnet, and it has all of her patterns. She was a famous designer, and she curated a lot of the fashion in the 20s, and it has her patterns. It's all in Japanese, and I believe, if I have this correct, I saw this on the Cherish website, that the Metropolitan Museum of Art has the only book that is translated in English that's exactly like this. They're all in Japanese, and the Metropolitan Museum of Art has the only one that's in English. However, a few years later, it was manufactured with an English manuscript in the back, and this one that I bought has the English manuscript, which I think is just so special. This book, I feel like, is iconic. I did not even really realize when I was buying it. I think they had it for like $350 in the thrift store, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna pay that, because I just didn't know anything about it, and I didn't know how special it was at the time. And, you know, I was talking to the guy for a while, and he said that it's been there for years and years and years and would cut me a deal. So I don't exactly remember how much I paid for it, but I know it was not more than $150. So the fact that I have this deluxe edition Madeleine Vionnet book that I got for $150 is just so special to me. I just love that there's just special finds that have stories with them. That just brings me so much joy, and this one in particular does that, especially because I love fashion, and I love I love fashion and design and jewelry and all that. So this was really special. And I also saw years ago when I went to Restoration Hardware, I go in there and I get ideas for my space, and then I replicate them on a budget. But I saw that they had just a massive open book laid open on a desk with a task lamp over it, and I loved the simplicity, and I loved the look of that, so I wanted to replicate that here, and I truly love the look. And this is a TV. It is not a Samsung frame TV. It is none of that. It is just a regular old smart TV, and my dad is a fabulous woodworker. He has so many hobbies, and he made me this frame. We went to Home Depot together when I was back in Texas and got all these trim pieces. He made this frame for $68. So no, this is not expensive. This was not thousands and thousands of dollars. It is just a regular old TV that we got on sale on Black Friday with a $68 frame my dad made. So I love it. I just think it just elevates the space so much. I love the look of it, and I love how chunky and gaudy it is. I really like that style. Speaking of my dad woodworking and making that, he also made me this precious mantle. My dad made me this for my college home, and it was purple and gold at the time. I had a totally different design aesthetic, but I repainted it, and it was just back home in storage, and I think it made him feel so special when I wanted to bring it back up here when I finally got a space of my own all these years later, knowing that I still wanted to use it. I think made him feel really special, but I just love it. I think it fits the space perfect. I've always envisioned having a mantle in my apartment with a double stack mirror and candelabras. This is the vision I've had for so long, and so it was so just dreamy for me to get to achieve that finally. But I just love this space. These little crystal candelabras I saw on Facebook. There was an estate sale back home in Texas, and it was a company who put on the estate sale, and she posted pictures of a lot of the things that they were selling, and there was a table full of crystal. I mean, you couldn't see what from what, but my eye immediately went to these two things, these two candelabras. I had to have them, but I was never going to be available at the time during the estate sale hours, so she gave me her phone number. We messaged on Facebook, and I was able to go to her house and pick these up. So a lot of work went into getting these, but it was worth it. I love the double stack mirrors. This one's just from Hobby Lobby, and this one is from an antique store in Lafayette, Louisiana. That mirror is, I loved it when I saw it. I did not get that one wasn't thrifted, but I just loved it, and I had to have it, and I really think that it fits this space perfectly with the double stack look. And then I thrifted all 3 of these Chanel books, $20 a piece, and the top one was 10 cents. So proud of that. And then also this little door knocker my mom got from Italy. And I have a nail here because I hang wreaths around the holidays. I used to do that when this was in my college home. So it was just perfect to put the door knocker there for now. And I always love the look of the curtains going all the way to the ceiling. I just feel like the space grows, and the ceilings are tall in here, but I've always loved elongating the room, and I feel like bringing the curtains all the way up really achieves that. At first I was not too keen on these curtains, but the more I kept decorating the space and having patience with it as it all came together, I love it. I think it's exactly what I wanted. This little task lamp is a dupe for the Restoration Hardware ones. I got this on Amazon. I love the look of that. This little French chair with a duck feather bottom we got on Facebook Marketplace back in Texas. This pillow my mom needle pointed and fabric markered. She made this. Growing up, she would always encourage my brother and I to bring handmade gifts to birthday parties when we were little. And so I have made many of these pillows throughout my lifetime. I would fabric marker little pillows and put a bead trim, and that would be gifts to my friends growing up. And so Mom made this, and apparently this is my brother and I. I don't see if someone's there, but I think it's sweet, it's nostalgic, and it's always been in the house, and so I wanted to bring that up to New York, and she let me have it. So I love that little pillow, and this is also great because it's extra seating. So when I have guests to entertain, I can just carry this chair anywhere. And I also have these little stools, which are lightweight and easy to bring around the apartment, and they're cozy. And so this serves as extra seating if we want to meet in the tea room and chat there. But I actually recovered these years ago with this fabric. I just stapled it to the bottom. I recovered these cushions, and I just painted this. So it was a dark wood, and this was a maroon satin fabric, and so I really wanted to lighten it up, and I just feel like it fits the space perfect. So I love those little stools that I can just bring all around my apartment. As far as my bed goes, this is such a statement piece. It's such a statement pillow. I actually had a headboard that my mom made me for my college home years ago that I brought up here to use in this space. It was navy blue, and so it didn't fit my design aesthetic now, but I went to go buy this fabric, and oh, I felt so bad. My mom and aunt worked so hard to recover that in this apartment, and it had the nail head trim and everything. It's so ornate and was not easy to recover. And we put it up on the wall to see what it looked like, and I hated it, and I felt so bad. I was like, I messed up. I picked the fabric. It looks horrible. I just did not like it. It wasn't the vision that I had, which sometimes that happens. Sometimes you have a vision and it doesn't work out, and it's okay to change it. So we went ahead and carried that to the Salvation Army, donated it there for someone else who may love it and be able to use it in their space. But we had a little bit of leftover fabric, and my contractor's wife, who was here, who's the seamstress, made me a bolster pillow. And then we just got these tassels from Amazon, and I hand stitched them to either side. And how fab is this pillow? It's just made out of extra scrap fabric. And so I absolutely love that. I got these pillows from HomeGoods. I love the idea of the peacock look. I just love the print. This is exactly what I wanted and envisioned. These lights, once again, are remote controls, so there's no hard wiring, there's no cords. The bulbs come out and you can recharge them. They're so easy. Got them on Amazon, love those. And then when I finally was like, what headboard do I do now after this one didn't work out? I found this on Walmart for 85 bucks. cheap, cheap, cheap. So I love the look of it. I think that it's feeling a little more French country in here. But I love the look. This isn't what I was going for, but I really love that headboard in this space. And then as far as, I have another closet in here, even more storage, which is amazing for a tiny New York City apartment. You don't always find that. So I love the fact that I have even more storage in this space. And then over here by the closet, I have my desk that I use to put my makeup on, but there's many drawers, and I can also use it for my real estate work, and I got it for 10 bucks. I got that desk for $10 and just repainted it and freshened it up. So that is such a fun find for me. And I got my little chair, my little velvet chair from the Salvation Army that they know me at, and I got such a good deal. I think I got it for, I don't remember, maybe like $34. I can't exactly remember, but it swivels, and I feel like it was just made for that little desk. And so it was such a fun find when I found it. And yeah, I feel so cozy and relaxed when I'm in this space, and I'm really glad I went with just the light mood and interior here. And I always love when I get to curl up in bed at night and put an ambiance with a crackling fire on my TV, and is a way to wind down. And yeah, this is the vibe that I wanted to create for this room. Just cozy, homey, and ultimate comfort after a long day. Okay, and something else I love is my desk area over here. This desk I got at a garage sale in Texas for $10, and I just repainted it. It has so many drawers for storage. I use this. This is where I get ready. This is where I do my makeup. And it's also where I bring out my laptop and I get a little bit of work done with my real estate. It's so nice. I love this area. And I got this little chair from the Salvation Army in my neighborhood that is dangerous. And I don't remember how much I spent. I want to say it was like $34 or something, but I just thought that the mustard was just going to be perfect to pull out all my golds and bronzes, and I love the tassels, and it swivels. It's just so adorable. I think it just looks like it's made for this space. I love it. And I also love, as you see, I have more closet space in here. This apartment is like a dream for closet space. This is not normal for New York City to have 3 closets in a New York City apartment. So I just hit the jackpot with this place, with all the storage that I'm gonna be able to have for when I decorate for seasonal decoration. I have so much storage for my Christmas trees and all my fun things to make it special. But yeah, I love this space. I love the size of the bedroom. I was really able to have a desk and have a place I can do my makeup, have a mantle, have 2 nightstands, have extra seating. So I was just really fortunate to find this gem of an apartment in which I'm able to make it exactly what I wanted it to be. So it's so cozy, and this bedroom is just so nice to curl up and get cozy after a long day. Home to me is a place where someone can come in and feel so comfortable, feel at peace. It's a place you can spend with people you love. It is a place where you are comfortable and welcome and warm and cozy, and just a place where you are just truly happy and joyful. And so if I can do that for anyone who walks through these doors, I've accomplished my mission. Well, Homeworthy, it's been great having you. You're welcome anytime to the Thrifted Palace, and I'll just see y'all next time. Bye.
I'm Sarah Lyon. Welcome to my Upper East Side apartment. Sorry for the drilling downstairs, but we are in New York City. I am a freelance writer specializing in interior design and lifestyle content, and I have been in this apartment for almost a year. When I was looking for apartments, one of the things I loved was kind of all of the ornate features and Parisian style details that you would find in the apartments in Brooklyn. But when I was narrowing down my search to the Upper East Side, which is where I lived when I lived in the city about 8 years ago, I just wasn't seeing any of that, especially within my budget. And so I kind of took the initiative to bring in some elements like a couple of fake marble fireplaces. Yes, I have more than one. And some fake molding, and just really adding kind of some life and fun architectural elements in terms of just the textural details I have, artwork, and just little accessories to kind of bring a Parisian chic feel into New York. In this apartment, I really wanted to embrace all the natural light that I have, and so I didn't want it to be too cluttered or busy, but I also definitely am not a minimalist, and I love having collections and color and art, and so I did a neutral sofa, but I kind of worked color in through all of my accessories. And I always love a jute rug. I think a jute rug looks good in any style of room, whether your style is Grand Millennial or boho or Scandinavian. You know, it really just works in any space. And you can always layer a smaller area rug over a jute. So that's kind of a good way to add color. But I have so much fun going to different flea markets around the city every weekend and vintage stores and just kind of adding things. So truly, I would say that my style changes all the time. I mean, if you come back in a month, this room could look very different. So this fireplace actually comes apart into different pieces. And so the top is a piece, the front face is a piece, the insert is a piece, the bottom, the back. And so it was delivered to a stoneworker. He came with his team and assembled it here, and it took probably just a couple hours. And it's great. It is definitely not going to fall over. It is very sturdy on the wall, which is good. It makes me nervous, you know, otherwise. So this was a little writing desk that I actually got when I was living in DC. I got it from Facebook Marketplace. I think it was about $100 or $150, so a great deal. And the person selling it told me they actually had gotten it from a former ambassador's estate sale. How cool is that? I am obsessed with Facebook Marketplace. I check the app all the time. This chair was one of my Facebook finds, and it was only $100. It was new. The person selling it had recently reupholstered it, and it was in storage. So it really hadn't been used. It was wonderful. I could not get it through my door because the door to my apartment, just to the building itself, is very, very narrow. And thankfully, our neighbors on the first floor, my super's apartment, they have a back porch door, and we were able to get it through there. But all in the name of an $100 chair. So another piece I love is my coffee table with this glass top. It was only $50 from Housing Works. If you love to thrift and you're in Manhattan, in Brooklyn, there's so many Housing Works stores throughout the city. So I love having a table like this that, you know, was very affordable, but kind of looks antique and tells a cool story. I love collecting matchbooks from different restaurants. So I display them in this cute little shell bowl from a store in the West Village. I also love a little bit of animal print. So this is a bench that I also got on Facebook Marketplace. Same with the tiger one, another Facebook find. And I just love the little pops that they add to a space. My style definitely is classic, but leans a little bit eclectic, and I think the animal print is definitely an example of that. So believe it or not, this is a fake plant. I tried to keep a real tree alive in here. It was not an olive tree. It was just a different tree, and it did not live. So in came the olive tree. People advised me against a real one. Real ones are really temperamental, and being in the city too, it's kind of, you know, I'm out and about a lot during the day, and I wanted something that would thrive even when I'm not home. So that is this. This plant pot is a favorite of mine. It's also a secondhand find. A friend of mine found 2 of them on Facebook, and she took one, I took the other. It is 200 pounds. It's probably the heaviest thing, well, other than the mantle, that I own. And it came with me in my move. And so here it is. And I can't pick it up by myself, so it's probably always gonna live right there. So I love abstract art. This piece is by an artist named Joan Sotero in Richmond, and it's from a store called Brick Alley Co., which is also based in Richmond. I love the different swirls and just kind of how all of the neutrals play together. I also love a good piece of oversized art, especially if it's a original. This one was a very affordable find, and I just love how it fills the whole area. I'd kind of toyed with a gallery wall in this space, but after a while realized it just felt too busy, and I love how kind of just calming this piece is to look at, especially if I'm sitting in this chair reading and kind of look up. So definitely a favorite. So as much as I love a neutral piece of art, I am not a neutral girl. I love a little pop of color. And I also love anything vintage Gucci or vintage designer. And this pillow is actually a vintage Gucci scarf that was made into a pillow. I purchased it through a designer friend of mine who used this in a show house, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. And I love framing scarves. I've definitely hung framed designer scarves in the past, but I just think this is so fun, and I love the pops of orange. It's kind of different and a little bit bold and risky. So these are just all of my pretty books. I read a lot, but those are not out. Those are, well, actually, when I read novels, I usually kind of donate them or give them to friends after, but the coffee table books I will keep forever and ever. No, I can't pick a favorite. I love all of them. I get so inspired by them, especially writing about design. It's so fun to kind of flip through a book and have it be a real life Pinterest board in that way, and just to kind of get different ideas about trends and styles. So I think styling a bookshelf is so much fun. I actually don't restyle mine very often because it does take a while to kind of get them right. And the books are heavy, and my apartment is too small to kind of be like shifting the books all the time. But what I did was kind of tried to alternate horizontal and vertical stacks. I wanted to kind of make this bookshelf look a little more full. Kind of in the past, I've done just stacks with 2 or 3 books, but again, I live in a small space. I have all these books, so they need to live somewhere. And I kind of just went to town trying different color combinations. I have black and white up here. I have all of my colorful ones off to this side. A lot of the books I have are blue, so those kind of play nicely together. And then I like to add little storage boxes. These are just filled, with little cards from friends or trinkets and things like that. So definitely a mix of aesthetic and practical over here. So I am such a big handwritten note girl, and I save all of my handwritten notes from friends, so they all live in here. I also love Polaroids. This is from a holiday party that I had, and we just took a bunch of Polaroids, and so I love to look back at them and keep them in here.
What's this?
Oh, this is a postcard from Dowling's, the new restaurant at the Carlisle. I love to kind of just pick up little souvenirs like that when I'm out in the city. So I'm walking over to my dining room. How luxurious. No, it's just part of my living room. But I did set up a little dining table over here with my vase of bodega flowers. If you know, you know. I love going to the bodega. Peony season is here, and I had to pick some up, but New York bodega flowers are honestly the best thing. They have so many different varieties. I got lilacs from there the other day. They're in my bedroom, and they just bring me joy. These chairs are actually from Zara Home. If you didn't know, Zara, yes, that Zara has a section that you can shop online, and the pieces are beautiful. I love this woven style, and I think it's kind of a fun juxtaposition with this marble. So I love a good gold trunk. This one was vintage from Facebook Marketplace. It's so heavy, it's hard to even move around, but it's great for storage, which living in New York, you never have enough storage. And it's just a great little coffee table next to the couch, doubles as seating. I could even pull it and use it as a coffee table in front of the couch one day if I change my mind. So love that, all about the storage. So we're gonna go over to my kitchen, which is actually what you see when you first walk in. I know it's a little weird. That's life in New York apartments. I added this island here, which is great for entertaining. I love to just kind of set out food and drinks here when friends come over. Could all use more counter space in a New York apartment, so this definitely does double as that as well if I'm cooking or baking. So I'm a big glassware collector. I love, love, love buying glassware when I'm out vintage shopping, and I found this little storage piece, which is actually so great. The doors slide back like this, and so it can actually hold a lot of my great glassware. I love these are Ferrone that I love. These I just found on Instagram via a little store that popped up on my feed. I love these for summer, so great for kind of any type of drink you like, you want to whip up. I do little margaritas in these, and then they just get tucked away in here. So this is my bedroom, and it was also just kind of a blank white box that I jazzed up with some paint. This is the color grayish from Claire Paint, which I love. I also have Claire Paint in my living room. And then because I wanted to do something kind of out of the box and grand, I opted to have molding installed. This molding is actually made out of styrofoam, believe it or not. And it came from Amazon. I had a lovely TaskRabbit come and help me install it. He did a great job. I just ordered literally everything on Amazon Prime, and it was done in a day, so that was amazing. I also ordered this light fixture from Target for over my bed, and I added a little French looking medallion also from Amazon. Thank you to the same TaskRabbit who did both of those projects for me. And yeah, I honestly feel like it makes such a big difference. I cannot believe that I lived in this room with just plain white walls and no molding for as long as I did. But I love it. I'm never gonna take it down. So because you can never have too many mantles, I have another one. This came with me from my apartment in DC up here, and I love it. I feel like this wall maybe originally did have a mantle because it's kind of jutting out like this, but it was probably not a beautiful one like this. So this makes me very happy. I have a little lamp from Ballard Designs. I also am a big candle fanatic, so I have all of my little candles. I love using vintage ashtrays to hold my candles, so they just go right in. I love that. And more bodega flowers. And then over here, I have, just another little piece of abstract art, some favorite books, kind of for a vintage feel. But because we are in 2022, I have my TV. And so this is my Samsung Frame TV. It used to be in my living room, but I moved it in here because watching TV in bed is the best. And it's already kind of camouflaged the way it is. That's how this TV is made. But I added a little bit more art to kind of just set up a gallery wall in here. And I love looking at that while I'm in bed. And even when the TV is off, I think it's pretty to have just kind of a fun background up as well. Oh my gosh, I am a big perfume girl. So I honestly do wear a lot of these. I promise it's not like for the aesthetic, but they do look nice grouped together. Even when I'm working from home alone, I kind of put perfume on. I don't know why. I feel like it just makes me feel more together and ready for the day. I think it kind of has something to do with my love of candles. I love every scent and I love to have them all around. I just really wanted this to feel like a calm space. Because I work from home all day, I definitely do come in here during the day, but I like to kind of keep my bedroom just very, zen. And I really like the blue walls. And I kind of just wanted it to feel a little less loud than my living room, even though I wouldn't say my living room is that loud, but I've really kept the colors to kind of grays, blacks, blues, greens, just a little more subdued than in the living room. So I love quirky accents. And I found this little plaque that says "Do not disturb resting" at the Hillwood Museum in Washington, DC, which is where I used to live. The museum was right in my neighborhood and I couldn't resist it because I love a good nap. So I had the plaque professionally framed and it lives right here on my nightstand. These are little New York City prints that I got at a flea market on the Upper West Side called the Grand Bazaar. It is open every Sunday, rain or shine, year round, so you can't miss it. It is such a fun resource for vintage finds. These pieces actually came from a book about New York, and they were just illustrations in the book, and I just popped them into frames I ordered on Amazon. I love it. The individual pieces were $10 to $15 each, so definitely a great deal. I knew I wanted a large ornate mirror over the mantle just to evoke that kind of Brooklyn, Parisian, whatever townhouse situation with the fireplace. I could not find one that was kind of more unique. There's a lot of stores that now kind of sell these large ornate mirrors, and I liked them, but I wanted something a little bigger and a little more kind of just off the beaten path. And so I found this on Facebook Marketplace, but it was out in Long Island. And so I had a TaskRabbit, love my TaskRabbits, go and pick this up for me, which was so nice. And then we just hung it and it looks great. And it really makes this room feel a lot bigger as well. So these vintage Dior suitcases, oh my goodness, I go to the Chelsea Flea on the weekends as much as I can. It's a great flea market. I found the large one there in December, just had to take it home with me. I am not 100% sure if it's real, but the seller was pretty adamant and it looks pretty real to me. And then I found a similar, smaller one online on the RealReal, and they're honestly great storage. I can fit so much just kind of random stuff in there, which, I love a stylish storage situation. I probably will never use them for travel, but I'm all about the aesthetic.
Oh my gosh, is Homeworthy literally at my apartment right now? I'm Bridget and welcome to my home in Brooklyn. Come on in.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Bridget Muller and welcome to my 560 square foot apartment in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. So this building was built in 1928. It's a railroad style apartment, which are not uncommon in New York City. And I actually found this space on Craigslist. It was so funny because a week or two prior, I had looked at another railroad apartment literally around the corner. And when I was in that one, I was just like, you know, on paper, this feels like everything I want, but something is off. Like I just had a gut feeling that something was off. And so then a week or two later, I walk into this place and I was like, yep. The moment I walked in, I just felt it. I was like, this is my apartment. I just know it. Like, it just feels like it is. Most of the charm in this apartment was already here when I moved in. So like all of the moldings, there's a built-in cabinet, there's a fireplace, mantle, all of these things that are so beautiful. I did not have to add myself. So I've made a lot of changes here since I've been here, and it wasn't my plan. When I moved in, I was like, I will take this place as is. I had one phone call with my landlord when I first moved in, and I said, what would you think about me potentially changing out the kitchen sink? It was just like a dinky old metal sink. I was like, kitchen sink, and then maybe one day like replacing the shower fixture. He said to me, he's like, listen, it's your apartment. Any upgrades you want to make are fine by me. And I was like, sounds great. See you later. I've never met him. Since then, I didn't know. It's just been an evolution. So not only have I changed those things, but I actually redid pretty much the entire bathroom. I did marble countertops in the kitchen, new sink, new backsplash, new faucet. I even replaced the windows. That one I actually had my landlord go in and split with me because the windows needed to be changed, but I was very specific about the kind that I wanted, so I paid for the windows themselves and then he paid for the installation of them. But yeah, I know that it's wild and like who does this in an apartment that you're not gonna be in forever, but I do. and like I said, like if you would have told me when I first moved in that I was gonna be making all of these changes, I would be like, are you serious? Like, am I gonna live there for 100 years? But it's only been 2.5 years and it just has evolved and it's become a creative outlet for me. Like I've always loved decorating, but I've never had a space where I've actually been able to make little renovations to. Like my apartment has become my canvas and it's just been so cool to be able to do all of these different things to it. And I also consider it practice because I am hoping to buy a home soon, and I imagine that I'm going to be wanting to make changes in this home too. So this has been really interesting to see, like, how much does it really cost to do these things? What really goes into it? Like, do I even like having a marble countertop? So because I've had the free reign to kind of do whatever I want in this space, it's given me the freedom to like teach myself. I get asked all the time how I would define my style, and I don't really know for sure, but I like to call it French eclectic romance. I think old world French is the underlying theme that always comes through, but heavy emphasis on the romance. I love like textiles and draping curtains and just like beautiful feminine details. So that's the way I describe it. My favorite part of my home changes all the time. It's whatever my hyperfixation is at the moment. It's whatever I'm working on at the moment. Recently I just got this new kitchen island, this beautiful vintage piece from Facebook Marketplace, and so that's given a breath of fresh air to my kitchen. So now I'm really loving my kitchen, but then it's kind of just like whatever, it changes all the time. I really love the whole thing. But one thing I also say is my favorite spot is wherever the light is. And because it's a floor-through apartment, the kitchen side gets beautiful light in the morning, and then the living room, which is the other side, gets beautiful light in the afternoon. Where I gravitate towards throughout the day is kind of based on where the beautiful light is that's streaming in, because that just is, sunlight is something that's always inspiring to me. So welcome to my entryway, which is actually my kitchen. We're already in my kitchen. This area right here is probably the thing I've made the most changes to since I've moved in. And it all happened in stages. First, I got a new sink and a new faucet. And then I was like, let me change the knobs. Actually, let me change the doors. Actually, let me add a backsplash. Actually, let me go all out and get a marble countertop. Like, who does that? But the countertop before, it just wasn't the vibe and it wasn't doing this place justice. So I went out and get a marble countertop and I'm so happy with it. The thing that is still original is this structure, which you can see. You know what, you don't need to get too close, that's okay. No, it's like kind of falling apart. It's so old. But I kind of love that it still has the charm of what used to be here, but it's just been updated but still with a timeless look. So I learned that sometimes when you're getting marble, you have to buy a whole entire slab, and we can see how small this piece is right here. I had a lot left over. So one thing that I did was I had them cut an extra piece to go right on top of this vintage piece that I found at a thrift store in Brooklyn. And then later on, I got this slab cut, and now it turned it into a piece that feels super special and intentional, and it also helps it feel like a continuation of my kitchen counter. So I use this for just random storage. I got, if we want to look, I'm really like revealing myself now. We have plastic garbage bags. We've got, this is my cat's drawer. So there's like cat toys and stuff like that. And then just like random, see, I tried to fold them. I tried to fold these, but yeah, just like random, what is that called? Towels. And then this is kind of like an ever-evolving thing. Sometimes it's a display thing, sometimes it's to store my toaster. Everything in my apartment is always kind of moving around, so that's kind of a reflection of that. So I also got a piece cut for the top of my radiator, honestly, because there was just so much marble left over and I wanted to use it all. But I kind of like it because now I can use it as its own little like shelf space a little bit. And while we're here, I should probably mention one of the more ridiculous things I've done in my apartment, which was replace every single window, which is only 4, but it's very expensive. I got to split the cost with my landlord, so that was good. But it makes the space feel so much nicer and newer. So over here, this is my newest furniture piece. $125 on Facebook Marketplace. Such an amazing find. It's the perfect size for a little island because it gives me just enough space where I can work and do things on it, but also like walk around it without feeling like I'm bumping into it. So the only thing with this is that like, obviously it's like pretty low. So I got furniture legs custom made, 6 inches. So I'm gonna, at some point, maybe next time you guys are here, you'll see, stain it, get it to match here, and then apply it to the bottom so that it raises this piece up to counter height, and then it'll just feel even more intentional in the space, I think. I love Facebook Marketplace. I find that in New York City, there are so many good things on Facebook Marketplace, and for some reason, like, I don't know, you would think it would be more cutthroat, but in my experience, it really hasn't been. So I found this place, it might have been, I forget where it was because I had to hire someone else to go pick it up because I don't have a car. So it was actually this like weird transaction where like the seller was having to talk to the person who's gonna pick it up and I wasn't there, but it made it here and that's what's most important. But I've actually had a lot of luck on Facebook Marketplace because another piece is right over here in my breakfast nook. So this is a real still life oil painting, super old, so beautiful, huge, in this huge frame, and this too was like, I think $125. Like it's wild. And I feel like it just looks so perfect in this molding, which I believe this is original to the space, and it feels like it was just made for this painting, and it makes my breakfast nook what it is. This breakfast nook is one of my favorite spots in the whole apartment, and I kind of had the vision of it like as soon as I moved in here. I just knew I wanted a cozy place in the corner. Every time I go to a restaurant, I love to be in the corner. I'm very like energy sensitive, and I always feel safe and secure in a corner. So I've made this into a little breakfast nook. It's evolved over time with different tables. I'm actually getting a bench custom made that will be the exact length of this indent. So that's coming soon. Just keep an eye out for that. But for now, this is wonderful. And I added this little pendant up here to just kind of make it feel like its own special vignette. I find that whenever anybody has people over, the kitchen always ends up being the gathering room. And it's really funny because I don't want it to be. Like, I love my kitchen, I'm so proud of it, but the living room is where the vibes are at. The living room is where I want people to hang and chill and whatever. And yeah, everybody always ends up being right here. And I literally will have to like pick up the cheese board and be like, all right, everyone, we're going to the living room. But it does make me happy to see people naturally gravitating towards this nook because I love it too. So I'm happy that they do as well. It took me a really long time to find the perfect marble table to fit in this space. I originally had one that was much too small and a lot of dining tables are way too big, but this one kept popping up. I've seen it from multiple places. I actually got it from Lulu in Georgia as a gift, so thank you. But it's just a beautiful, like perfect size marble table with this really sturdy metal base. I feel like it really has that like French vibe that I'm always going for. My secret to keeping all these plants alive is that I don't always, and it's so sad. Like actually this tree, which I love, this is a calamansi tree, so it actually will grow little fruits when it's doing well. Let's give it some love because I feel that it's not doing the best. So I love plants. I am a real plants girly, meaning like I always love to have real plants and have them everywhere, but I do struggle, like a lot of people, to keep them alive sometimes. This one's doing pretty well, which I'm very proud of because somebody told me this plant is hard to take care of, so I think we're good. I kind of love that my stove is just like a standalone. You don't often see that, and I feel like, I don't know, it's very charming. I imagine this must have been a fireplace at some point, maybe. So I kind of love that this is there. And then this piece of art I hung recently. This is one of my secrets. It's not really a secret. It's a pro tip. It's a life hack. If you love paintings like I do and you're trying to build your collection, it's gonna take a really long time to get all pieces that have the perfect vibe. So one thing that I do is I find digital files of vintage paintings. I get them printed on a textured paper and then I pop them into vintage frames. So this is actually just a print, not a painting, and I have fooled people before, so that's a win. And you should do that too. And then we come over here. This was the first thing I saw when I came to see this apartment, because you walk in right here, and I think that's how I knew this was my apartment. I just saw this and I was like, are you kidding me? A built-in, I don't know, like it just feels, I don't even know what to say. I love being able to display my things because I very purposely always go for pieces that are functional but also so beautiful. And this is a place where I get to display everything. It's fine that the glass is cracked. It's fine that there's a million layers of paint that you can see. I just love this built-in cabinet so much. I just really love to collect unique pieces, and this was one that I found on Etsy. So this is handmade. It's just super beautiful. I love the scalloped edges and the like floral detail. It just feels so special, and it's like, yeah, it just feels so special. And then when you're actually eating food off of it, it just makes it a whole experience. If you ever feel the urge to incorporate a little bit more color into your space, one great way to do it, or one kind of easy way to do it, is to just paint your door. Paint the inside of your door. The other side is black. We're not striving for perfection here, so you don't need to zoom in. But I did the whole door, and the molding. I actually stripped these transom windows. They had been covered in paint when I first moved in, so this was like a whole project. But yeah, and then once I did that, I decided to do this arch as well, so that it kind of just like ties everything in together. Another hack is curtains. I use curtains for literally everything. Self-proclaimed curtain girl. Like, okay, doesn't it just look cute here? First of all, but secondly, it's hiding all of my cleaning supplies. And if I knew that I was gonna be showing you that, I would have made this look a little bit cuter. But I have a curtain here. I also have this one that's hiding my garbage can. So like, yeah, you can still see the garbage can from above, but overall, when you look at this vignette, it just looks cuter. So professionally, I've pretty much always been in content creation. It's really cool because I get to do the things that I've always loved that I never knew would be able to turn into a full-time job. Like even like 5 years ago, I don't think I had this vision that I would be able to do this full-time. And actually having this space that I've been able to make so many changes to has really been like a jumping off point for that. It's really like I was already making content before I moved here, but it helped like amp up. It gave me a niche really, because I post about whatever I'm passionate about, and this has been my passion since living here. So it gave me a niche. It helped me grow an audience of people that are interested in the same things that I'm into. And it really is like, it is work, of course, but it is, I love it, and it's like a dream come true. Speaking of curtains, let me show you my dressing room. I love a lot of things that this apartment has, but one thing that it doesn't is storage space. So you kind of have to make your own. These are fairly new. I just had them installed. They're just from IKEA. And then I switched out the knobs to some real brass, unlacquered brass knobs. And I feel like because there's so much height, it makes the space feel like really rich, and it gives me the opportunity to store a ton of things and then just close it all up and you see nothing. So this has been a game changer. Another fun thing in here is this little vanity. I'm really proud of this because, no, I didn't make it, but this, the black piece itself was just, I found it from Lowe's, and it was super inexpensive. And then again, I just switched out the knobs for some unlacquered brass, and then got another piece of marble cut when I was doing the countertops, did a little beveled edge, and then later on I added this mirror, which I got from the Brimfield Antique Market. I love this piece. I love the patina, how old it is. So yeah, it just made this whole little vanity come together. And then I've been so obsessed with pleated block printed lampshades. So these can get super expensive. I definitely splurged, but I bought both of these from Etsy, and then I put them on these two different lamps that are similar size and similar vibe, that I just got from like various thrift stores, I think. And there's my little vanity. Let's do this one. I did not prepare for this, but here we go. It's not that bad. Normally these computers, this stuff I was hiding for the video shoot today, but it's okay. So yeah, here's my clothes. As you can see, I like what I like. Plaid, plaid, gingham, plaid, plaid, neutrals, whites. I am who I am. And then, yeah, so this is so great because we get drawers built in, and then at the bottom I just like have like nail polish, essential oils, stuff like that. I did actually put this light, which was on a sensor here, so that I could see when I open my drawers. But the reason it's off is because I always leave my closet doors open, because I don't know, that's the way my brain works. And every time I walk back and forth, it would go on, and it was way too overstimulating. So I just, instead of shutting my doors, I just shut off the light. So this is another built-in, like the one in the kitchen that came with the apartment, which is great. For the first like 2 years that I lived here, these doors would just open on their own. And it's just, you know, the product of a thing that's been painted over 1 million times throughout its lifetime. So I first had this little latch added, and it didn't help. So then I had this big one added, and that's what helps. I love that it keeps everything in place. I love unlacquered brass, if you didn't already know. And I just love adding knobs and handles, or replacing knobs and handles. It really is a way to totally customize a space and personalize it and make it feel like you. So I found these cuties from Anthropologie. I love the little pearl detail, so just popped those on there. As you can see, there are lots of mirrors in here. It's a little ironic because this room gets the worst light of the whole apartment, but it is my dressing room, so this is fairly new. This beautiful big mirror. I think it just, I love this. This is also from Lulu in Georgia, like my kitchen table. But I love the little detail on it, and I don't know, it feels so perfect in this space. And because my ceilings are so high, it did feel like there was empty space above it. So one hack to help draw the eye up and fill the space is to put art on top of something. So this is a beautiful painting that I always forget. I'm like, did I buy that in France or did I order it on Etsy? I'm pretty sure I ordered that one on Etsy. And yeah, that's a beauty. When you have a lot of things, a lot of towels, a lot of clothes, you need hooks. I have so many hooks throughout my apartment, and I just have these 4 brass hooks right here. It's usually much more packed, but this is where I put my robes and my towels, and it's actually right outside my bathroom, which has no storage at all, so it's kind of perfect, the perfect spot. Welcome to the bathroom. It's literally like 2 square feet. 2 square feet of pure joy, because I just had this redone last year. So there are a lot of changes that I made. One of them is this marble deck above the tub. This was directly inspired by the Ludlow Hotel in New York City. I always loved it and I wanted to have my own, so now I do. Also this alcove right here, this was inspired by Athena Calderone, her iconic famous Brooklyn bathroom, she has this like arch indent. She had this like arch alcove that I think inspired a lot of people to do that in their design. I wanted mine to feel a little bit different, so I like went on Pinterest and found some other ideas that I was inspired by, and that's why I have that like little detail at the top, which feels different and a little bit more just like aligned with my style. This project was a labor of love from me and also my one contractor that I used that did almost everything for me. He was wonderful. Thank you, Andre. These sconces I had custom made from a light artist, and then also these ceramic lampshades were also done by an artist, somebody different. So I really just love how like all these little pieces came together, and like, yes, the apartment is so tiny, but I feel like you get a lot of eye candy in a very small space, so I'm happy with it. Living in a small space is not an easy thing to do, especially when you're a person who likes things. So I definitely have some tips. One of them is just create storage wherever you can. So even like this behind me, this bench is a storage bench. So it opens up, you can store things in it. I had wardrobes added in the dressing room. I add curtains everywhere. When I want to hide things, it creates like a closet right there just by like putting a curtain up. So I think the biggest thing is to get creative, and like I even have like baskets that are out in the open to store things, but they look pretty. So you can find ways to make storage in a way that still looks pretty. Now we're in my bedroom, which is literally just a nook off of my living room. Fits my bed and that's it, but that's really all you need. And this is an exclusive. You're seeing it here first. This is a brand new bed frame. It's handcrafted from this sustainable brand called Green Row, and it's so beautiful. I really love the caning. I feel like it really has that old world French vibe, even though it's a new piece. One thing I did to differentiate this space from the rest of the living room is I decided to paint the walls. It's kind of hard to tell because it's really pale, but it's white in my living room, and then this is a very pale blue, which I feel like I did the ceiling, all the trim, the doors, the whole thing, so you feel like you're kind of just like cocooned in this space. And then I really kept it simple because there's not much you could do in here, but I have this beautiful painting. I got this from a flea market when I was in Paris a couple years ago. I really love that piece. And then this one, I got this last year at the Brimfield Antique Market. I almost passed on her. I actually did for a second because they were asking $350, I think. And it just like stung for a second. So then I like made my round, like walking around, and then I got to a point where I was like booking it back to because I was like, I can't have someone else take this. I need this painting. I just feel like she's such a vibe. She's so beautiful. And I am obsessed with all of the colors. I mean, I know it's very neutral, but it just, I don't know, this is perfect to me. I love her. She watches over me when I sleep. The frame is perfect, so yeah, I love this. And then this light fixture, I'm obsessed with. That is a vintage piece that I found on Etsy. I actually have a lot of lighting that I found on Etsy. I just feel like it's really unique. It's totally my style, but it's like very unique and different from a lot of the other things that I have and a lot of things that I've seen. Oh, I have a hook here for my robes. I'm such a robe girl. I have so many. I literally just like wear them all around my house because it just gives you that vibe, you know? You know what vibe I mean. So this is where I hang them. And then the final thing is, again, curtain girl. Obviously, I have curtains right here to separate the living room from the bedroom. I don't really close them. Sometimes I do a little bit just to make myself feel more like tucked in, but most of the time they're just open. Old homes have a soul already embedded in them because they've lived lives. They've lived so many lives with so many different people, and like only they know, only that home knows what they've been through. You can give your home more of a soul by adding in more pieces that like you love. It's kind of like a soul connection type thing. And that's how I tend to do like my shopping. I gravitate towards pieces that I just feel like I have a gut connection to. Like I'm just like, I love that, I want that. And so things that make you feel a type of way, when you bring those into your space, I think that helps give it a soul. And I really do think it has to do with old objects too. I love vintage objects. I love thrifting. And so I think bringing in pieces that have already lived lives and then bringing those into your space helps bring more of a soul into the space as well. I think also just treating your home as a living, breathing, evolving thing. because I love decorating so much, nothing is final. I'm always wanting to move things around and like rearrange and add new things in and make a new moment over here. So it's kind of like, I view my home as this like ever-evolving thing just like I am, and so in that way I feel like it is alive. And then taking literally one step forward, we have now transitioned into my living room. So I love this space. It gets the most beautiful light in the afternoon, which is right now, so you're here at the right time. When I first started thinking about how I was gonna decorate this space, I really just wanted it to feel like a relaxing sanctuary, just like beautiful but easy and just a place you wanna be. It was kind of centered around this couch. This was one of the first pieces I found that I knew I wanted to get before I even actually moved in here. This has been a journey because sometimes you find that you love a piece, but it's not fully doing what you need it to. And so with this couch, I love it, but the back cushions that it had, you don't see them here, it just felt like, it felt a little bit too stuffy, and I really like to plop down and like spread out. So I got rid of those, and it's just been this evolution of adding different pillows on top of my couch to find out what I like the best. And I'm in a good place right now. I think that one tip is like, add a bed pillow to your couch. That's what I did right here. And it's so wonderful. I have just like various pillows in varying sizes, and it's so easy for me to just plop down, use the whole depth of the space, move the pillows around. One of them is behind my back. One of them has my laptop on it. Like, it's just this whole thing. And it makes it very, very versatile. So don't get stuck in what you think you have and how you think you have to use a piece, because there are always other things you could do. This painting right here, I get asked about all the time. It is called Harvest Moon by George Inness, not the original. So this again is a print of the original painting and then just put in a frame, and one of my favorite pieces. I just love the colors, I love the vibe. Looking at my space, you might think that I'm anti-rug. I am not anti-rug. I love rugs, but I have found rugs to be the most difficult thing to get right. When I first moved in, I looked for like a year for a rug for this living room, couldn't find any. Eventually I found one, ordered it, put it in the space, hated it, got rid of it, well, sold it to someone else. And I'm at this moment where I'm like, I actually don't, if I come across the right rug for this room, I will get it, but I actually do love it the way it is. I know that sometimes rugs are needed to warm up a space and make it feel cozy, but I think because I have so many curtains, so many pillows, so many like soft textures, that it doesn't necessarily need it. And like I said before, I love my white wood, so I don't need to cover it up. So I'm good without it, but if I find the right one, I'm not opposed to getting it. This bench was another Facebook Marketplace find. I picked it up from Philly, so I made a whole weekend out of it. And it had other fabric. I got it reupholstered. It took me forever to find this fabric, got it reupholstered, and now I'm like, I maybe wish I did a different fabric. I don't know. Sometimes it's really hard for me to make up my mind. So I like having the blue here, but then just like covering it with this blanket to give it some more pattern, to give it some more interest. Because I find that like when you have if you have too many solid colored things in a space, it starts to feel really like stark, or like it's too color blocked, and somehow pattern actually softens it up and makes things flow together more, which you might not think naturally, but that is the way that it seems to work. So anyway, that's what I'm doing here. And then this is my fireplace mantle, which I said before it was one of the selling points. I've always wanted to have something like this in a space. You can see over here, I did a little testing to see what is underneath 85 layers of paint, and it turns out it's this really beautiful grayish blue stone. So maybe I'm thinking I might strip this mantle, but I do think there's lead paint underneath, so I need to figure out a way to do it safely. One thing that I've learned living in a very old building, this is almost 100 years old, is that there are a lot of things you need to consider, especially if you're making changes and like doing renovations, because there are a lot of things that happened back in the day that we have since learned are not healthy. One of those being lead paint. It was everywhere back in the day. So a year or two ago, I actually had a professional company come here and test the entire apartment to find out where there is lead paint and whether or not it is safe. And it turns out that there's lead paint pretty much everywhere, but because it's buried under layers of paint and it's completely covered, it is safe. It's only when you start sanding things and start like, you know, producing dust with that paint where it becomes dangerous. So that's, so yeah, just like an important tidbit to think about if you live in an older building as well. So when I first saw this apartment, walked into the living room and saw this mantle, I was like, yes, I got so giddy because I've always wanted to have a mantle. I feel like it really gives that French vibe, and I imagine from the start having a huge mirror over it. So this is the gleaming primrose mirror from Anthropologie, their famous mirror. They're all over the place, but they really are the perfect, shape. And this is actually 5 feet. So in addition to this, it's 5 feet up, which is wild, but it ended up being the perfect size because my ceilings are 9 or 9.5 feet tall. So it really just totally creates, it makes this into a home moment. Like, this is a feature. This feels very special to me. So I love this area. And then the other special thing is right next to it. So these shelves did not exist when I moved in. The only place they existed was my brain, because the moment I moved in, I was like, this blank wall is not gonna be a blank wall. It's gonna be a wall of shelves that I can use as like my own little museum. And it took a while to get here because there were so many changes that I was making in my apartment. But finally, I had some time to think about this project. I hired someone to do it. I'm not a handy person. I don't do that stuff myself. But I hired someone. I told them my vision, that I wanted them to look like built-ins, even though they're not. I just feel like it's flawless. Like, this is one of my favorite spaces because since I am such a decorator and I love arranging things, this is like a blank canvas when there's nothing on it. And so I've been able to collect all of these pieces and art and pottery and just make different little vignettes. The other night in preparation for today, I was like, what if I put some branches up all the way here? I've never put branches, like usually if, I don't know, if you have flowers in a vase, it's more gonna be like eye level, but I decided to put them up there and I'm like, that's so cool because it totally draws your eye up and now you're looking all the way over here. So it's just really fun to play around with. This piece I really love. This was done by an artist, Jeanette Morrow. So she had reached out to me and she was like, I'd love to work together on a piece. And so I basically was able to pick out all the different features, the shape, this piece, the color, everything. And then she went and made it and I am absolutely obsessed. It's super heavy. It's really well made. I feel like it goes perfectly with all my decor. And it's just so special because I know it was literally handmade by a person. I love things that are handmade. I love handmade and vintage things. So another fun feature, you might be wondering, what's behind those curtains? Well, this is where I keep my TV. It is a very small frame TV, but you know, it's all that would fit here. So I had this vision of having a TV where it could be totally hidden, and then you can pull it out and push it up. So contrary to popular belief, this is actually the perfect height when you're sitting down, or especially like laying down like I do on my couch. Perfect height because it's just in line with my eyes. And yeah, I love it. And then these little curtains kind of like frame the frame. This is from a separate company and I love the vibe. I did get a lot of questions like, why would you buy a frame TV and then hide it? And the answer is because how could I pretend like I'm living in the 1800s if I have a TV? Like, to me, I know it looks like a painting, but I still know it's not a painting. So I like to have the option, sometimes I keep it out like this, but I like to have the option to be able to just put it back, close the curtains, and like I said, I'm a curtain girly, so these make me so happy. Being a curtain girl, I think about curtains very often, and my newest obsession is these little clips that I find on Etsy that you can use to hang your cafe curtains. I actually have them in the kitchen and I have them here, and I wouldn't be opposed to buying more. I just feel like they have such a cute little detail that feels very feminine. It very much aligns with my style, and it turns curtain clips into a feature, you know, like I just love thinking about the little details like that, so I'm obsessed. So this chair was similar to my couch, it was one of the first pieces that I got for this space, and it stayed because I move things a lot in and out, sell them, whatever. But this chair has done me so well. I love it. I just feel like it's perfect in this corner, and something that I love to do is cover it with a sheet. And it's not that I hate the chair itself, although my cat did go haywire ripping it up, but I love the relaxed look of a linen slipcover over a couch or a chair. So, and it's really cool because you can have, this is like an oatmeal cup. This is literally just a bed sheet. It's just a bed sheet size, and it's actually the perfect size for this chair. So sometimes I use a white one, sometimes an oatmeal one, sometimes one with a pattern. I like that you can have so many options. And yeah, if you have a chair that if you don't necessarily like the fabric or it looks old, but you like the shape of it, throw a sheet over it and you're good to go. Don't be afraid to get a tree. Don't be afraid to get a full tree. This is one of my favorite things that I have. It's a weeping fig, aka Ficus benjamina, and it's so beautiful, and it's just like, it's such a statement thing to have in your place. Like, who has a tree in their apartment? Get one. It will change your life. But actually so funny. So I got this tree one day, and the next morning I wake up to my cat Ollie like running across the room, and he's like making these chirping noises, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did he find a mouse? Did he find like a cockroach? What is going on? I knew that there was like a living thing that he was after, and so I'm like, Ollie, what are you looking at? I follow him to this corner right behind where you're standing, a frog. There was literally a frog, and I'm like, it had to have come in the tree. I got the tree delivered from the what is it called? From the flower district, from a store there. And there must have been a frog somehow wrapped up in there. And so it was so cute, and I dropped it off to an animal sanctuary. So hopefully it's doing okay. But yeah, I had a frog for a day. So if you're wondering what this door is, this is actually a separate entrance to my apartment. So this goes right back out into the main hallway, the same place where the door in my kitchen goes to. So I don't use it as much, but I do sometimes if I'm, hanging out in the living room and I get a package, I can just easily run out this way. So it's fairly common in railroad apartments because there was a time where there would be multiple families living in one unit. So I believe that's the reason why there are multiple entrances, but just a fun little tidbit.
I love the word home for so many reasons. And I think, like, I've said this before, but to me, home feels like an exhale. It feels like when you're just like, like you can finally just like relax and be, and you feel so safe and comfortable and supported, but also inspired. That to me is a home. It's, home is where you feel most yourself and most at ease.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.